What if I told you that your birth date wasn't chosen by chance? That the day you were born holds spiritual codes that reveal traits of your soul, lessons you carry from past lives, and even events from your past that still influence your present. It might sound too mystical, but many ancient cultures, such as numerology, Buddhism, and esoteric traditions, believe that the soul carries records from previous lives, and that those records manifest in your current journey. Have you ever wondered why certain fears, patterns, behaviors, or connections seem to come from something you've never experienced in this life? Why you feel an immediate bond with certain people, or why situations repeat like a cycle? In this video, you'll understand how your birth date reveals much more than a zodiac sign or number. It's a portal, and what you'll discover here may completely change how you view your own story. Get ready for shocking insights, because we're going to explore details no one may have ever told you. Which aspects of your birth date indicate who you were, what you're here to learn, and how to break karmic cycles that may be holding back your current life. This video goes beyond curiosity. It's a mirror of your soul. And maybe, by the end, you'll understand that nothing you're living today is random. If you're ready to look beyond the veil, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below with the phrase ****. My soul carries memories I'm ready to understand. ****. This affirmation might be your first step in unlocking something that's been dormant inside you for a long time. Have you ever stopped to think that the day you were born might hold clues about who you were in a past life? It's not just numerology, astrology, or spiritual belief, it's pure energy. Many ancient traditions affirm that the soul chooses the exact moment to incarnate, because that date carries the right vibration to continue a story that began long ago. In other words, your birth date is not just a mark on the calendar, it may be the portal that reveals your spiritual origin. You know that feeling of, "I've lived this before," or feeling drawn to things, places, and people with no logical explanation? That might be a reflection of memories your soul carries from other lives. And if you feel there's something inside you that you don't fully understand, an energy, a calling, a restlessness, maybe it's time to look at your birth date as a hidden key you never knew you had. The answer might be there, and you've spent your whole life ignoring it. What's most fascinating is that once you understand what your date says about your soul, you begin to remember who you really are. The patterns start to make sense. The repetitions have a purpose, and life no longer feels confusing or unfair. Because now you see clearly, you are not here by accident. You are continuing a mission. And the best part? You can start decoding it now. And now comes the most important part. When you discover your spiritual number, everything starts to make sense. You understand why certain things attract you, why certain challenges keep repeating, and even why you feel like you were born for something greater. What once seemed random becomes clear. Chaos takes shape. You stop feeling lost and start remembering who you really are. Now comes the part everyone wants to know. How to find your soul number. This number is like a spiritual code that holds information about who you were in past lives and what you came to resolve in this one. And believe me, it's much easier than it sounds. You only need to do one thing. Add up all the digits in your birth date. Let me give you a simple example so you understand. Let's imagine someone was born on the 14th of November, 1985. That is, day 14, month 11, year 1985. Now pay attention. We'll take each number from that date and add them all up. Let's go. 1 from day 14, 4 from day 14. 1 from month 11. 1 from month 11. 1 from 1985. Ju. Ba. Wu. Adding them all. 14111,985 equals we have the number 30. Now we need to reduce that number down to a single digit. So we add 3 plus 0 equals 3. Done! That person's soul number is 3. You can do the same with your own birth date. Just add up each digit, even if it takes a minute. In the end, you'll arrive at a single number between 1 and 9. This number isn't just a numerological figure, it represents a spiritual frequency that's been with you since before you were born. In the next part, I'm going to tell you what each number from 1 to 9 really means. And get ready, because you're going to recognize yourself. If your soul number is 1, it reveals that you are an old soul who has lived many lifetimes where you had to rely solely on yourself. You carry an energy of extreme independence, which is why you find it difficult to depend on others even when you need to. It's as if you're always keeping your guard up, always in control. But behind all that strength, there's a silent fear of being disappointed or betrayed, because in other lives, that's already happened, and your soul still carries those scars. People with soul number 1 are usually seen as strong, determined, and self-sufficient. They're natural leaders, good decision-makers, and quick to start new things. But at the same time, they can feel lonely even when surrounded by people. That loneliness comes from feeling like no one truly understands what they carry inside. They feel deeply connected to ideas of mission, purpose, and achievement, but can feel frustrated when recognition doesn't come, or when success takes time. A common pain for those with this number is the feeling that they always have to be strong for others, that they can't break down, that they can't ask for help, and that gets exhausting. This soul often reincarnates with the mission of learning how to balance strength with vulnerability. You don't have to do everything alone all the time. Independence is a gift, but connection is a lesson life is trying to teach you to receive. If you resonated with this, you probably carry the soul number 1. Strong, but tired. Driven, but afraid of failing. A natural leader, but with a heart that's often silent. Your healing begins when you understand that asking for help doesn't dim your light. It only makes it more human. If your soul number is 2, you've probably felt like you feel too much. It's as if the emotions of the entire world flow through you. You notice things no one else sees, pick up on people's energy, and sense when a space feels heavy, and often you don't know what to do with it all. In past lives, you likely experienced rejection, abandonment, or emotional betrayal, which is why you carry an extremely sensitive soul that tries to protect your heart, even though it longs to connect with everyone. You are a soul of peace. You hate conflict, avoid arguments, and often swallow your feelings just to keep harmony around you. And that can make you sick. Because the number 2 came here to live harmony. Yes, but without self-erasure. Many people with this number suffer in silence, feeling like they give too much and receive too little. You're the one everyone turns to when they're struggling, but rarely has someone to hold you when you fall apart. Your spiritual mission in this life is to learn how to say no without guilt. To understand that being kind doesn't mean constantly sacrificing yourself. That love is not the same as self-abandonment. You came here to build bridges, to heal relationships, but first, you need to heal the overwhelming self-demand you place on yourself. You often carry a deep fear of being left out, so you try too hard to be good enough. but you already are. If you are a soul number 2, know this. Your greatest power is your empathy. You feel what others don't have the courage to feel. Your intuition is strong, your presence is comforting, and your energy can transform a whole space. Just don't forget to treat yourself with the same tenderness, because you also need care, respect, and someone to embrace you, starting with yourself. If your soul number is 3, you're probably someone who talks a lot, feels deeply, and thinks even more. You have a natural glow, a light energy, and a charm that draws people in effortlessly. But behind that easy smile and flowing conversation, there's a deep and often confusing inner world. In past lives, you may have experienced repression, unable to express yourself, say what you thought, or show who you really were. That's why in this life, your soul craves freedom, but still carries fear of being judged or rejected. Many people with soul number 3 live in a paradox. They have a strong ability to communicate with others, but struggle to express what they feel to themselves. You're seen as the fun one, the upbeat one. But there are moments when you shut down inside, and no one notices. And in those moments, you feel alone, misunderstood, like no one sees real pain. Because you've learned to hide it all with lightness. But that comes with a cost. Your soul came here to shine, to inspire, to use words as a bridge, but also to learn how to be honest with yourself. The number 3 carries a mission of healing through expression. When you block your creativity, you disconnect from your essence. When you stay silent out of fear of criticism, your soul suffocates. And when you try too hard to please others, you move away from who you really are. Your lesson is to find balance between lightness and depth, between performance and silence. If you are a soul number 3, know this. The world needs your light, but it needs to be real. Don't hide your pain behind. Use your voice to speak your truth through art, writing, speaking, humor, whatever works for you. Because when you express yourself from the heart, you don't just heal yourself, you heal others too. If your soul number is 4, you're probably the person who always seems strong, responsible, reliable, stable, the kind of person others turn to when they need help, but rarely ask how you're doing. That's because in past lives, you may have experienced situations where everything collapsed and you were the only one left to hold things together. Your soul learned to survive through effort, discipline, and structure. And in this life, you still carry the weight of feeling like you can't afford to fail. You're someone who needs security. You hate empty promises, hate improvisation, and hate depending on people who don't follow through. On the outside, you might seem cold, serious, even rigid, but on the inside there's an exhausted soul that just wants to breathe without having to worry about everything at once. The fear of failure, of instability, or losing control silently follows you. And it's that fear that often makes you too hard on yourself, too demanding, and not nearly forgiving enough. The big trap for soul number 4 is believing you only have value when you're producing, organizing, or solving something. You feel guilty when resting. You feel like you're wasting time if you're not being useful. And in that, you disconnect from the lightness of life. You came here to build structure, yes, but not to be imprisoned by it. Your soul needs to learn that there is strength in rest, in spontaneity, in saying, I don't know yet. Because the control you try to maintain on the outside hides the chaos you feel inside. If you are a soul number 4, hear this. You're not here just to carry the world on your back. You're here to live too, to smile without guilt, to not have all the answers, to ask for help, and most importantly, To stop thinking that being strong all the time is your only option. Your soul will only find peace when it realizes that you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. If your soul number is 5, you've probably felt that you need movement just to breathe. Your soul is restless, curious, questioning. In past lives, you may have experienced imprisonment physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And that's why, in this life, you came with a deep, visceral need for freedom. You can't stand forced routines, excessive control, or the feeling of being trapped. But at the same time, this constant chase for newness often hides an inner emptiness you don't yet understand. Those with soul number 5 tend to be spontaneous, fun, full of ideas, and attract attention easily. You're the person who suddenly changes everything: your look, your plans, your friends, your path. But the problem is when change becomes escape. You move cities, change relationships, switch projects, thinking the next thing will bring the peace that's missing. But the soul number 5 needs to learn that true freedom isn't outside, it's within. And as long as it's confused with never stopping, anxiety will quietly grow. You may feel it's hard to connect deeply with someone. Everything seems exciting at first, but soon it loses its spark. That's not a lack of love, it's fear. The soul number 5 carries an old fear of being controlled, of losing its identity, of fading inside something. So often, you sabotage relationships, opportunities, or even your own happiness out of fear of commitment and being trapped. But what you're avoiding is actually what you need most: to root yourself without losing your freedom. If you are a soul number 5, know this. Your mission is to live freedom with awareness, to learn to move with purpose, not just to escape. To understand that creating roots doesn't mean losing your soul, but giving it a safe place to grow. When you find that balance, your light expands in a way that transforms everything around you. Because your energy is rare, vibrant, and transformative. It just needs direction. If your soul number is 6, you come from past lives where caring for others was your mission. You may have been a mother, a healer, a community leader, someone who gave up everything to ensure the well-being of those you loved. That's why, in this life, you carry a powerful energy of protection, nurturing, and empathy. You feel an almost invisible responsibility to keep everything in balance. And when things around you are emotionally or even physically disorganized, you somehow feel like it's your fault. You're the kind of person who thinks of others before thinking of yourself, who fixes everything, carries everyone, and still wonders if it was enough. People with soul number 6 are often seen as loving, dependable, understanding, and sensitive. But beneath all that sweetness, there's often a stifled pain. The pain of feeling like enough. You constantly seek approval, peace in relationships, and harmony in your connections, even if it costs your emotional health. The big challenge for soul number 6 is self-neglect disguised as love. You give, 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 and when you need something, you feel ashamed to ask. You feel guilty for resting, for saying no, for putting yourself first. You believe love means serving constantly, end up forgetting to serve yourself. Many times, you attract people who take advantage of your kindness, who lean on you emotionally but disappear when it's your turn to fall apart. That hurts, but you pretend it's fine because you're afraid of seeming selfish. If you are a soul number 6, it's time to understand this. The love you give is beautiful, but the love you give yourself is sacred. Your light is unique, and your ability to heal lies in accepting that you also need healing. Your heart is a home for so many people, but you also deserve a place where you can rest without guilt. Your mission is to learn how to balance caring for others with caring for yourself. Because when that balance is found, the love you already carry transforms into something even greater, love that sets you free. If your soul number is 7, you've probably felt different since a young age. Not strange, but disconnected from the things that seem to drive the world. While others chased status, image, or approval, you were always searching for something deeper. The number 7 represents a soul connected to the invisible, to what cannot be touched but can be felt. In past lives, you may have been a mystic, a scholar, someone who lived in isolation in pursuit of spiritual wisdom. And now, you carry that with you, a constant need to understand why. You're the kind of person who observes more than you speak. You notice details others miss. And often, you feel a kind of loneliness you can't quite explain. Not because you're alone, but because it feels like no one truly gets you. People with a soul number 7 are often seen as intelligent, introspective, analytical, but inside, they live in a tug-of-war between wanting solitude and hoping to be found. And this can trap you in a cycle of questioning, doubt, and a never-ending searching. The greatest challenge for the 7 is trust. Trusting people, trusting life, and even trusting yourself. The 7 soul fears letting go, because it carries wounds from old betrayals, physical, emotional, or spiritual. That's what makes you close off, hide your pain, and pretend everything is fine. But inside, there's a whole world of unanswered questions. You can't stand superficiality. You avoid spaces without truth, and often feel like you live between two worlds, the spiritual and the material, without fully fitting into either. If you're a soul number 7, know this. Your depth is a gift, not a burden. But your mission in this life is to learn how to trust again. You don't need to have all the answers to allow yourself to live. You don't have to isolate yourself to stay safe. There is beauty in sharing your inner world, even if slowly. Your soul carries ancient wisdom. And when you start to trust yourself, your intuition, and the right people, life will show you that you were never truly alone. If your soul number is 8, you carry within you a power that can be intimidating. You might not even realize it, but your energy impacts the space around you. It's like everyone senses that you were born for something big. And it's true. In past lives, you may have had intense experiences related to power, financial, social, or even spiritual. And in this life, you carry the vibration of leadership, authority, ambition, and resilience. But also a silent fear. What if everything goes wrong? What if I'm not as strong as I thought? The 8 is the soul of control. You struggle to trust, to delegate, or to depend on others, because deep down, you feel that if you don't handle everything, it could all fall apart. And that fear doesn't come only from this life. Many 8 souls experienced major losses in past incarnations. Collapsed empires, betrayals, bankruptcy, abuse of power. And now, they live in an internal conflict between I want to rise and I'm afraid to fall. That's why you push yourself harder than anyone else ever could. You may be seen as too strong, cold, or tough. But few people realize that behind that exterior is a heart carrying a lot of unhealed pain. The 8 feels everything deeply, but doesn't show it, which leads you to bottle things up, to stay silent, and to live as if the world depends on your control. You might struggle with vulnerability, afraid of seeming weak, and end up pushing people away without meaning to. If you're a soul number 8, hear this with love. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your soul has already been through enough wars. Your power is real, but your peace should be the priority. When you learn to balance ambition with presence, strength with empathy, control with surrender, everything changes. You weren't born to settle for less. But you also weren't born to live under constant pressure. Your greatest power isn't in what you achieve. It's in who you are when you no longer have to fight. If your soul number is 9, you're one of those people who seem to carry the suffering of the world. Even without trying, you feel others' pain as if your own. You have compassion, even for those who've hurt you. You forgive easily and live with an open heart, even after being wounded many times. That's because the 9 represents a soul that has lived many lives, and therefore carries a quiet wisdom, a depth that's hard to explain. In other lives, you were likely a guide, a healer, a mentor, someone who served the collective. And in this life, that mission continues. People with soul number 9 have a different aura. They're intense, observant. They feel before they understand. They have spiritual gifts, heightened sensitivity, and a heart so big that they often forget themselves. It's common to attract those in pain, heavy stories, relationships that demand too much. Because you came here to heal. But here's the thing. You didn't come to sacrifice yourself. And that's the 9's greatest challenge: to love without losing yourself, to help without sinking. There's a deep sadness in the 9 soul that doesn't always have a name, a melancholy that shows up even on good days. It's the feeling of being misplaced, misunderstood, lonely, like you're always in the right place with the wrong people. And do you know why? Because you see the world differently. You feel what others avoid. And because of that, you often withdraw, go quiet, protect yourself. But your light was never meant to be hidden. Your soul came with a mission to transform the world through love. If you're a soul number 9, understand this. Your love is your greatest strength, but it must begin with you. Don't lose yourself trying to save one. Don't absorb pain that isn't yours. When you learn to care for yourself with the same compassion you give others, everything falls into place. Your gift is rare, your soul is ancient, and your presence already heals, even in silence. You're not here by accident. You are the part of humanity that still believes in love, and that's what makes you a channel of light. Now that you've discovered your soul number, maybe something inside you clicked. Like, for the first time, someone put into words what you've always felt but could never explain. That's not a coincidence. Your soul recognized something that had been asleep. And now, the most important question is, what are you going to do with that? Knowing your soul number isn't just a spiritual curiosity, it's a calling, a reminder that there's a greater force guiding you, and that everything you've experienced, even the pain, is part of something bigger. This number doesn't limit you. It frees you. It shows you where your blocks are, but also where your power lives. And now that you know this, you have the chance to live with more truth, more awareness, and more love you really are. Maybe you saw yourself too clearly and cried. Maybe you're still confused, still processing. That's okay. This is the beginning of a reconnection with something that comes from other lifetimes. A reunion with your essence. And that's the point. You don't need to understand everything right now, but you do need to start listening to yourself more deeply. Because your soul has been trying to speak to you for a long time, and now you're finally hearing it. If you've made it this far, know this: that alone is a sign. Your soul is searching for answers, searching for meaning. And today, it found a mirror. The number you discovered isn't just a spiritual symbol. It's an invitation, a reminder of who you've been, what you still carry, and everything you can become. From now on, you hold a key. And what you choose to do with it, that's entirely up to you. Don't ignore what you felt. If something in this video touched you, if any part of it spoke directly to your heart, it's because you're ready to look deeper within yourself. Self-knowledge doesn't change everything overnight, but it changes you. And when you change on the inside, the world starts to align on the outside. So now, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and turn on the bell so you keep receiving content that awakens, heals, and sets you free. And more than that, write in the comments the phrase, "I accept my soul with everything it has lived." That affirmation holds power. It's a way of sealing this moment, of honoring your journey, and allowing the next step to unfold with awareness. Because in the end, you're not just starting now. You're continuing something your soul began a long time ago.